Okay, so we already know our choices for fasteners on this project include nails, screws, or bolts. We have to decide which one we want to use. Now, you might be inclined to say, well, the easiest thing and the quickest thing for me to use will just be to get a nail. And of course, you can use that, and we would be able to assemble this project without any problems. All you need is a hammer to put those in. And certainly, for those of you who don't have a drill with a drill bit that you can pre-drill a hole for these screws, that might be the choice that you want to make. So, but even with that, you still got to know something about the types of nails, because we got all sorts of different types of nails. We got common nails, we got box nails, we got what we call sinkers, we got roofing nails, we got finishing nails. There's lots of different nails and lots of different types of sizes with those again. Now there is a terminology that's an industry known as the penny. So lots of times nails are classified either as a 4 penny, a 6 penny, 8 penny, 12 penny. That kind of refers to the size and the length. Now let's come on over here for a second. Let's just kind of take a look at a few that we have here in the building construction room, just so that you guys are aware of them. Now this is what we call a 8D nail, now, or an 8 penny nail. So, and that is a box nail. Here is another. This one now we're going to go with a 16D or 16 penny nail. Notice the difference in the lengths. So now these are also box nails as opposed to a common nail. Generally your box nails have a narrower and a smaller diameter here on the shank than a common nail. Common nails are more inclined to be used in construction because it makes sense if you think about it. The thicker the diameter of this, the more structural load that will carry, and it'll be able to hold a lot heavier weight. Box nails are kind of called box nails because they were used to assemble boxes, so they didn't need as much structural strength to keep a box together, so they had a smaller diameter on the actual shank of that nail. So just a couple of differences. Now we also get into finish nails. So here's a 6D finish nail. Notice the head. So here we got that nice flat head that we can bury and kind of have flush with the exterior. And then of course your finish nails go in a lot deeper and they disappear so that they are really not seen, and that's kind of the idea. So these are called finishing nails because these are typically used in baseboard molding and trim work, all of those fine details that we want to do where we want that nail to be hidden and not seen. So now notice too though, the size of these, they're very small, so their holding power is not real strong. So that too is another reason why they're used a lot for trim molding, where it's not going to be taking any type of load, and they're just basically used to hold that board up against another board. Now, one other type of nail that we'll mention that's here, so notice this. This is a roofing nail. Notice how it's got that coating. I believe that's a zinc coating on there. So we also need to kind of pay attention to, because these nails here are galvanized. Other nails that you might buy are not galvanized. So, and if we're using it for an exterior project, you probably want to buy galvanized nails that won't rust and won't disintegrate. Of course, if you don't use galvanized on an outside project, that nail is eventually going to rust through, and then you'll be left with nothing holding that. So, of course, as we look at it, we're going to specifically talk mainly here about these nails right now, and I'm going to show you some things on the Leopold bench. So let me kind of move these out of the way. So when you're thinking about using the nail, obviously you need to have a nail that is going to go through the material. So now this was our 8D nail. It's got the length, so you'll notice, and you always have to pay attention to the length, how far in that will go. And obviously you don't want to use a nail that's going to go too far to go through here. So like right now, if I use this 16D nail, that's going to go all the way through and poke out on the other side. So we definitely wouldn't want something like that. So in this case, the 8D nail would probably be a decent choice because it's long enough. The length on this 8D nail is 2.5 inches long. And if you think about here's that whole idea again as far as the difference between actual dimensions and the nominal dimension. This is a 2x8 that we're using, but the actual dimension here is 1.5 inches. So 1.5 and 1.5 is 3 inches. So you know, I really need a nail that's going to be less than 3 inches, and I probably don't want to even be that close. So really this 2.5 inch nail would be fine. Now, putting it in here, so if we nail in, basically I want 3 nails, and I want to be having 3 nails kind of going in a triangular pattern to hold that in. No matter whether I use nail or screw or even a bolt, that triangular pattern will give me good locking power and help keep the part from wanting to twist and turn. That's called 6 degrees of freedom. We'll talk more about that 6 degrees of freedom and the way we lock things in to keep them in place. But so I could use a nail. So, however, the disadvantage to the nail, especially in an outdoor project like this, is kind of the same thing that goes on in your house. You notice you get, if you're using nails on our floors, you start on the stairs especially, you start to get squeaky stairs, squeaky floorboards. That's because over time, as the wood expands and contracts with the being exposed to the outside moisture, that hole is going to open up and close with the seasons, and this nail is going to basically start to get loose and work its way out, and of course you don't have as much holding power. So you know, you probably got maybe 2-3 years tops with a galvanized nail on a project like this. Certainly you want more life expectancy out of your project. So that brings us to the next step, and we'll get into more about screws here in the next video.